All right, everybody, thanks for joining us today. We've got Gary Shankar on the line with us, and he is going to be talking about the new general availability of the actions, optimization actions, now available inside of Cloudability Premium. Gary, tell us about this new GA release and walk us through what's coming and what's new inside of Cloudability Premium here, man. Thanks for doing this today.
Absolutely. Yeah. So here's a quick overview. This particular release, we are bringing in the turbonomic engine generated actions and the cost and performance optimization actions, and we allow these actions to be executed within Cloudability UI, right? That's number one. And second, these actions that get generated, the optimization actions, which are cost and performance optimized, which I talked about, are driven by fine-grained policies, whether it's a configuration policy or you can have them automated. The moment that action pops up, the system can take and trigger an action for you in order to help you realize the savings. The manageability of these policies are also being brought into Cloudability UI, so you don't have to toggle between different UIs. That single pane of glass will help the relevant administrators, the policy administrators, and people who have been given the permission to execute actions can actually do it from one single UI, which is Cloudability Primary UI. That's the release that we're making, Hunter.
It's great, man. I'm excited. This has been much anticipated, and I know a lot of hard work has gone into it. So I'm pumped to see it today.
Absolutely. Yeah. So one, as you started with this session with, we displayed the turbonomic engine generated cost and performance optimization actions, the cloud end-to-end interactions for VMs, disks, and workload controllers today. So for all of them, we allow them to execute actions. I mean, obviously, it is tied based on what roles and permissions are configured for this particular user. If you have the relevant permission set, you can see a new button, which I'll demonstrate. It's in the action details page to execute them. Second, the turbo policies will be available in the Rightsizing Preferences page under the Advanced tab. These two are made available. Let me know if you have any questions. I can go deeper. I can talk about the specifics of this.
Yeah, well, I'd love to see a little bit about, can you just show us the setup here, how to get started, and what configuring a policy looks like inside of Cloudability really quick? That'd be great.
Okay. Let me show you. This is the Cloudability page, you see?
Yep.
Right. This is my test instance of Cloudability Premium. You go to the Rightsizing Preferences page. You see here under the, everybody's used to seeing this, which is the basic, the Cloudability recommendation engine uses these settings. We have introduced this called a page called Advanced, and within that we have this advanced configuration settings, which helps you get to, how do I configure these policies, and how do I configure, let's say, the groups. It takes you to the relevant pages.
Right. So you don't have to hunt around.
You can manage your groups. You don't have to hunt around. You can configure your scopes through groups. You can configure your schedules. You can configure your webhook callbacks, as well as you can go configure your policies. And good thing is, you've been using this second, the turbonomic engines UI so far. Any configuration that you have done as a part of this premium, you don't have to redo anything. All of them are available, accessible from the Cloudability UI.
Yeah. That's great.
So these flows, I can go create a new policy, pick the type of policy, right? And then I can pick, the automation workflow, create those actions. I can specify, I want to define an action for savings versus performance. I can go create that workflow, all the good things that people enjoyed this in the turbonomic UI so far. All of that same capability, the same navigation, same experience being brought in that you can engage from the Cloudability UI.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's one part of it. So all of these are what we call as a part of policy configuration. If let's say you have a ServiceNow integration that you have defined in the turbonomic UI earlier, you can go create a webhook callback. You can use your infrastructure as code, hook them onto your automation policies. All of those things are available from the Cloudability UI. That's number one. Second, if I go to the Rightsizing page, I go into this Advanced tab. I can pick any of the actions that I see. Like you can see the status called ready. This means you are ready to go and execute these actions. I can go to the view details. See this option?
Yes. All right. Now we can just execute the action.
I can. I'm not going to hit execute because it's going to disturb somebody's VM or somebody's
Right.
development setup, but it'll ask for a confirmation. And the thing is, the moment you hit execute action, it's going to connect with the turbonomic engine. It would kickstart the action. It will let you know what those corresponding status are. And then you can actually go and track them to see whether they were successful, not successful, and then they get reported back as realized savings. Those additional incremental savings will bring in subsequent releases. But this is the point where you don't have to toggle between the two different user interfaces. You get to do that from Cloudability UI. That's precisely what we're releasing today.
Well, that's fantastic. And you said coming down the pipe here really soon, there's going to be additional support for more services and
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, can you talk
Quite
about
a lot
that
of
for just
them.
a second? Yeah.
Quite a lot of them. So come mid-May, we will have support for AWS RDS actions, Azure SQL Server actions, and we are looking to, we're targeting by the end of June, support for Azure App Service Plan, application heaps and thread optimizations, other Kubernetes actions like the pod placement, cluster resizing, and if possible, the Cosmos DB. We're going to get these actions into Cloudability, and all of them will have the ability to take actions, define automation policies. So it's going to be a bigger set by the end of Q2 that you will be able to see in the Cloudability UI that you can enjoy.
I think that's absolutely fantastic, Gary. Well, thanks again for going over all of us. Thanks again for going over all of this with us. We really appreciate it, man. I look forward to having you back on as some of those releases come out and walking us through some more capabilities that are being brought into to Cloudability Premium. Is there anything else that you wanted to add as far as all this goes?
Not at the moment. So just that the troubleshooting, people have to know they still have to go to the UI, the other UI, to look at what was the status of my action. What happened to that. To retrieve the log, you still need to raise a support case. Now there are some rough edges which we will clear by Q3 possibly. But we are reducing the dependency on the second UI, make everything available in the Cloudability UI. That's the overall goal.
That's awesome, man. And we'll keep everybody up to date as that comes down the pipe. So thanks for that call out too, Gary. All right. Well, take care. Thank you. And thanks everybody for watching today.